Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Reds Report. I am Chris Ridyard. Alongside me, back in the hot seat, Carlo van der Water. You all right, Carlo?
Yeah, very good evening. I'm all right, thanks.
Good man. Also with us this evening is former player and coach, Dale Tonge. You all right, Dale?
Good evening, yeah. All good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good. A better intro than last time. I know I ain't got much time because you and Leon have been gassing for a while. So I'm trying to rush it through. So I'll write a really good intro for you next time, Dale, I promise.
Yeah, third time lucky, yeah.
Also on the show, Yorkshire Post, Leon Wobschall. You all right, Leon?
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, not good, thank you. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
No,
Looking well.
No problem. Batting
Good
on.
man, good man. We'll make a start. We'll look straight ahead at the press conference today. Obviously, we attended. Malik Wilkes, first and foremost. We'll go to Dale. You work with Malik at times, Dale. He's moved to Hull. Struber said he was good offensively. However, he said that mentally, between mentality and style, there was a big gap. That happens in football, though, Dale, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think there's obviously been some sort of clash of personalities in there. I don't think there's any doubt in Mal's ability, and I think in actually the style of play that they want to play, and the people in those specific positions. So you think of what Brownie does, Mal could do that and then some as well. So that could have been a massive threat with Brownie and Malik as those effective wide forwards in the diamond or whatever different system he's playing at the minute with a 3-4-1-2 that he's playing as well. So it could have been a massive part of it, but he's moved on for obviously personal and professional reasons, and best of wishes to him because I had a really good relationship with Mal.
Carlo, as a fan then, what's your view on that? He's obviously gone to a relegation rival. Can't be happy about
that. Well, no, I suppose Struber must have a huge confidence, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of clause, and that will reflect in the prize that they've paid, whether he'll be able to play or not. Listen, I thought he was going to be our player of the season, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. There's no doubt that he's got absolutely bags and bags of pedigree and talent. And flashes that we saw were extremely impressive. And as a fan, you can only think that something must have happened behind the screens. So he's moved on. And if that's good for us financially, and it's good for him because his career is able to continue, then it's the best solution for both parties, isn't it? So no sour grapes. Best of luck to him. Maybe not for these next few matches, but definitely next season when they're in League One.
Yeah, certainly, Carlo. After it was asked about Wilkes, Leon, it was obviously asked about Wigan. It's all in everybody's minds at this minute in time. Great big news yesterday.
Yeah.
He mentioned it not playing a part in mentality and try not to think about it. Surely that's impossible, though, isn't it?
Well, maybe, but I just think in Barnsley's position, they've just got to ride the wave, not worry about other teams, and don't overcomplicate it. They're a young set of lads. They've got a real proper vibe all of a sudden, and just don't really worry about off the field distractions. And the stuff at the press conference about, what it'd be like if Barnsley got out of the bottom three on Saturday. But, they might not. It just doesn't matter. Just keep focused. Don't, really look at the league table. Focus on your own business. And because let other teams worry about Barnsley at the minute, because the way they're performing, the balance of the side, the energy, don't worry about Wigan, anything like that. Just carry on. Let other teams worry about Barnsley. And I still think Wigan have got a chance of staying up. I mean, what is it? If they finish 13 points above the drop zone, I mean, they're 8 above it now. They haven't kept a clean. They've kept. Is it 7 clean sheets?
7 clean sheets.
9 unbeaten. Yeah. I watched them at Huddersfield the other week. They've got a real spirit there as well. They've got a great manager. So I think Paul Cook will lift them up, and they'll probably quietly fancy the chance. So Barnsley, don't worry about Wigan. Just get on with it and run with the ball, which is what they've been doing.
Yeah. Leon's mentioned worries there, Dale. In terms of injury worries, none for Barnsley other than Palmer. Palmer, he's obviously had numerous injuries throughout his time at Barnsley, and just when he's seen a glimmer of hope, he'd seen the rainbow. He's back to not be able to play again. A massive blow mentally for such a young man. He must be feeling that right now. It's not nice, is it?
Yeah, I think the only positive that I'd take from it is the fact that this is an impact injury. It's not. His other ones have been obviously physical injuries like his hamstring, etc. So, and that was a reoccurrence again. So, we it be an impact. Obviously, you'd hope that he's come through that, and from his point of view now, he's got to be thinking, well, happy days, because, okay, yes, I've got the injury now, but look what I can do when I come back. I'm not just in and around the squad, I'm actually starting. So the manager's got faith in him. Obviously, he's had a bit of the limelight now in terms of his performances as well. So it should just be a massively positive time for him now to come back and show what he can do. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be next season now, but it doesn't matter for him. And from a personal and selfish point of view, he needs to think about what he can do for Barnsley.
He's got someone to take into next season, Dale, hasn't he?
100%. 100%.
Of course. And it hopefully he'll mend quickly, and he will be back for what might be a later start next season. Leon, yourself, when he's been injured the last game, he obviously brought Styles on, and then he kind of switched Styles to left wing back and played Ritzmaier in that middle role.
Yeah,
they're more than capable of handling that one injury, aren't there? There's a lot of players in that team, and you expect to see more of them this week, would you not? With 3 fixtures.
Yeah, he's made no bones about the fact that he's gonna utilise the squad, and it could be a chance for Callum Styles, couldn't it? I mean, it was interesting. He was up for press after the game on Tuesday, and I remember when he first joined and he was up for the press. He was very nervy, a little bit monosyllabic. Didn't really have a lot to say, but you can sense he's growing as a lad and more mature and more confident, and that's obviously reflected on his performances on the pitch. And he looks a player. He looks quite cool and composed, keeps his discipline, gets around the pitch, and I like the look of him. He seems a good kid, and maybe there's one or two others will get a chance as well. But it could be a big game for Callum on Saturday potentially. But what I like about Strub is he's not afraid to put a few in, isn't he? And go with his instincts a little bit. And it's I'll be interested to see how Callum fares on Saturday. Certainly, if he starts.
Yeah, another player that's been frozen out as of late, Dale. Bearer doesn't seem to have played a part. It's possible that the window might be open for him now in that midfield role. He's obviously capable of playing numerous roles. And do you rate Bearer as a player, Dale? He's quite a technical player, isn't he? He seems clever as well.
Oh, massively rate Mikey. Mikey's an unbelievable talent. I think people forget how young Mikey is. And obviously his history prior to coming here was a long injury history. So actually last season where obviously he was successful, that was his actually longest spell in a first team environment. But he was still only 21. And you think, wow, what has this kid got now? And obviously he's had his ups and downs with a new manager. But Mikey's ability, I mean, you ask anybody in that squad and they will all say Mikey's technically the best. He's by a long way. Well, he's such a talented lad, and not only that, he's a great kid as well. I mean, you watch the games, the first game of the season, for instance. He was a catalyst for everything that we did in that 10 role. Absolutely everything. His work rate, his effort, his energy. He ain't the quickest, but his work rate and his intelligence to be in the right position, he makes up for it. And having someone like Mikey on the bench is a massive plus. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned our squad's not that deep, but at the same time, you look, Clark's not getting a game at the minute. He was the best player, arguably before the shutdown. Do you know what I mean? You've got players like that all ready to come in. So, I mean, you've got Chappers who came on and scored. So, it might not look from the outside, but I'd be quite confident now. And then at the same time, you've got people like Callum who are going to come in. And that actually adds depth to your squad, knowing that they think they might have an opportunity. So if you know it's the same 11 every week, then you know people might get disgruntled. But the fact that now they know there's that many subs and all that opportunities, I think it's added to the depth of Barnsley's squad now, and it's only going to be the manager that is the benefit of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you kind of think all the 5 subs might only affect the manager, but I guess it does affect, you'll know more than us, Dale, the players' mentality as well, which people probably don't possibly think about as much. Carlo, yourself, you are living in Barnsley at this minute in time, 3rd on the COVID-19 list. That came up in the press conference, the fact that would Struber be worried about not being able to finish? Are you worried, Carlo, about not being able to finish the football? Or it's been finished elsewhere?
Well, I think I'm sure they will find a way, whether that is an alternative stadium or something to play these remaining matches. Although today it's figures from Barnsley Council, because I work on behalf of Barnsley Council, came that it's dropped again. I think there is something in the back of the mind. I think on the previous question though, about the subs, I think the reaction from Chaplin when he scores the goal, that's what you want. And a lot of people saw that as negative, but I think as a coach, that's a hugely positive thing when he's, and I don't have to say what he said, but it starts with F, and he's sort of looking, because that's the fire you want. When somebody comes, I'll show you what I can do. And ideally, Callum style step, they need to make Struber's life so difficult before match to pick, who to choose. And I think I agree with Dale. I think now we've got a huge, who can come at Chaplin off the bench? There's teams in this division that would die, and he'd be in starting 11 every single week. And that's why I think Struber has got a real good hold of him, and he gets the best out of him. And when somebody's dropping that little bit, as you saw on Tuesday, take you out, you'll go in, bang. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Love it.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. That's good. It's good. Dale, in every press conference, you'll agree with me on this, Leon, good mood, big belief in style, right motivation triggers, and good spirit. Dale mentioned a lot today. Dale, as a player, what does that feel like? That's my first part of the question, to be amongst that kind of environment. And secondly, as a coach, how would you harness that? Two big questions there for you, Dale. I know you're capable.
Cheers, man. There's my big build-up. Is that my big build-up?
That's your big build-up.
I've just written it down for next time, yeah.
I know you're capable.
I think from a player's point of view, obviously the situation being as it is, there isn't any outside noise. So it's just yourselves in your bubble, and it just looks like a positive environment. So that football's a strange place where things could change really quickly. But while they're in the bubble at the minute, I can only reference last year, the players just look so free in training, and they do exactly the same in games. It's old adage, you train as you play, and I think the players are doing that. So obviously, whatever they're doing there at the minute, it's working. And I think from a player's point of view, it's the fact that they've actually got free minds. They understand the roles and responsibilities, whether they're starting or not, and that's obviously playing into games now. And I think from a coach's point of view, I think getting big players on board early doors, so your Alexes, obviously your Solbauers, people like that. And not only obviously some really, I know it got looked at totally differently the other week when he mentioned the players who were not going to be involved. I think that was a masterstroke, because these were big players in the early part of the season and up to that point. And he's like, no, this is the group we're going to go with. And it's like, from a staff point of view, you're putting your trust in the players, but equally you're going to get that back tenfold, because they feel loved and they feel trusted, and they know that, wow, big players have gone, but I'm still involved. Happy days. And I think it were a masterstroke.
Yeah. Leon, you mentioned about the focus on Barnsley. Other results haven't quite been going Barnsley's way. I just wonder what your thoughts were on relegation rivals. So looking good, some not looking so good, including upcoming opponent Stoke.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. Obviously, there's a game going on between Hull and Borough as we go into air. I think it just seems the mood at Hull. You look at sort of
still 1-1
Barnsley at the minute, and there's a togetherness and a focus there, and you look at Hull, and it's like everything's sort of going wrong. I mean, there's stuff behind the scenes with the owners who are wanting out. There's players who, they had quite a lot of players who were out of contract at the end of June who haven't signed extensions. They've gone. They lost the two best players in January. And that one just looks a perfect storm, and they haven't won since New Year's Day. Obviously, there's today's game as well. But for them to sort of turn that around and stay up would be a big achievement. Stoke as well. Obviously Barnsley's next opponents. They had some good form, and perhaps they were thinking they were going to be, out of it, but they've been dragged into it. They've had a bad sort of start to the resumption. I saw Huddersfield at the week against Wigan, and they were really poor, and I sort of, feared for them. But they've pulled out a win at Birmingham. So it looks like it's going to go to the last day, doesn't it? I mean, it could be one of those where two, probably possibly three, but I'd probably say at least two, could go on the last day. And I mean, you just got to look at Barnsley out. I think I went to the Middlesbrough game in November. They've got 9 points from 18 games. And now you're looking at the bottom of the table. Potentially, you could be talking about 50 points to stay up. And, Barnsley got 30 of them. And they could, they could stay up with sort of 50 points, and what an achievement that would be. And it's certainly within the realms of comprehension at the minute. It's a fascinating finale. It reminds me a little bit of 2012-13, when obviously there was that last day, the great escape at Huddersfield, and poor old Peterborough went down with 54 points. But I've seen a few sort of survival races, and this one looks really intriguing. And obviously the hope of everyone is that Barnsley can pull it off and stay up. But it's been fascinating for the neutral, and there's going to be twists and turns. It's just don't panic if you lose a game as well. That's probably one thing to say as well.
Is that key? Because our next 3 matches could potentially be 3 sides that go down. We're playing Luton, we're playing Stoke, and we're playing Wigan. Those are our next 3. Yeah. Dale, as a coach, because the players, obviously, they know the table. Does it feel like a bit of extra pressure? Is it almost like 3 6-pointers in a row inside of 7 days?
I wouldn't say. Listen, I earmarked them when we had this first call, didn't I? That this week would be it will be defining. But you just got to echo what Leon said, that one loss in potentially the 3 games isn't like doom and gloom, because they've done the hard work. I don't remember what I said previously. I said if you get to these games and you're within 3 to 4 points, you've still got an unbelievable chance. So to get within a point, they've done unbelievable. But now it's just they just need to carry that momentum, keep the fluidity that they've got, and look at Stoke not in a detriment. I think it's the perfect away game. I really do, because all the pressure's on Stoke, all the pressure's on their management team. They've got all these big players, all this big money, and they have to beat Barnsley. Yeah. They have to beat it. And obviously, they're going to go into the game thinking, well, we actually did a number on them at Oakwell. So, from my point of view, like I say, I think it's the perfect game now being away. I really do.
Yeah. I think the interesting one, if Barnsley do win, it's a different psychological dynamic. I mean, if Barnsley do get out of the bottom 3 and the close up place, then you've sort of got that to deal with, haven't you? That's a new, that's so that will be interesting. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, Leon, you alluded to Stoke playing well before the break. I think I'm led to believe, I might be wrong. I think they finished at 5-0 against Hull. I think they were that.
5-1. Yeah.
And then since they've come back, they've took 1 point since then, which is it's totally opposite to Barnsley in a certain extent. It seems to have played into our hands. You might be right, Dale. It might be the perfect away game. It might be the perfect storm. Carlo, what's your thoughts on that? Stoke are beatable, aren't they?
I think they are. I think the Stoke manager's comments after the 3-0 loss earlier this week, when he sort of hinted that it didn't seem to hurt the players as much as he thought, or he thought it should hurt them. And I think there's a lot of big personalities at Stoke, not necessarily playing really well. I know it sounds naive. I think if you have a squad and the togetherness that Barnsley's got in these 9 games, it's probably worth 1 or 2 points just because of the hunger, the depth of the squad. And we don't give in on the style that we play. So I suppose because we're almost programmed to play like we do, we don't really care if Stoke are flying high or are already relegated, because if we play our game, they're going to have to improve a hell of a lot from Tuesday to Saturday to be able to match us, I think, because, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, Dale, 3 clean sheets. I mean, even as a staunch Barnsley fan and ex-coach, I know goals get you points, but we've been scoring them. Look at the 5-3 QPR. We scored 5 to let 3 in. 3 clean sheets. Yeah. Player of the season is up for June, and Mads Andersen is one of them. And I genuinely hope that he gets an overwhelming majority, because he is like a different player. And it's almost like the coronavirus helped him. I know not maybe the virus itself, but the fact that there's not 12,000 people on his back the moment he makes a mistake.
Yeah. So, you're right. I know you mentioned it's been a roller coaster, Leon. I'm right in thinking that all the teams apart from one have got more points than Rotherham gained last season, and they obviously were finished in the 3rd position going down. So it just shows how competitive it's been this season. The fact that anybody can beat anybody. We'll move on to key men then for this upcoming game. Dale, he's mentioned Mads Andersen. What an absolute star at the minute in time in that back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to call it.
Listen, I think Luton's a little bit different, but you look at the Wigan and the Stoke games, these are going to be his biggest tests because of the style of play. Obviously, Wigan do mix it up a little bit, but you think a big keeper coming, obviously back to Orwell, he's going to have a massive, massive point to prove. And obviously, whether they play Vokes, Gregory, whether they play up there, Campbell, well, we'll see how mature he's got now because he's played up against different opposition over the last 3 games. Whereas I think these 2 of the 3 games especially, you could even add Collins into that at Luton, really. These are his biggest tests. So if he has matured, we'll see over these next 3 games. So he's going to be massive. But equally, listen, you can't look any further than Solbauer. The reason why he's improving. There's no ifs, no buts. Experience is massive. And like no one will tell me anything different because he's got an inexperienced keeper behind him, in theory, in Jack. Yeah. But how good has he been, by the way? Do you know what I mean? So I think your key men, like I said prior, you get your spine, your team, you got your Solly, you got Mads, and then you look at Alex and beyond. They're the key because there's going to be a lot of back to front play in the next 3 games, and they need to be able to deal with that. So all right, playing against the teams that want to play like a Blackburn wanted to play at times. Yeah. It's been able to. These are the games we've struggled. So can we match the fight? That'd be my biggest fear at the weekend is Stokeness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Leon Anderson. I know you mentioned Solbauer. Anderson, 14 combined interceptions and clearances last Saturday, and in previous game 9. Solbauer has lifted everybody, hasn't he? Not just Anderson and Walton. The entire team's lifted. Who do you think is going to be the key man coming up game? Is it going to be somebody from back 4 again? Obviously, we're defending like absolute troopers, but we've got to stick the ball in the net again, haven't we?
Yeah, I agree with Dale. I just think that sort of that quiet authority of Solbauer, he did the press today, and 1 or 2 things he said. I know Gerhard says my boys, and Solbauer said it my backline a few times. So it's as if Struber's come in and personally just tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Look, your job is to get those organised and sorted out. That's that is your mission. If Barnsley are going to stay up, and he's going to be big because, like Dale said, they've got some good being around the block players of Stoke. They've got some big, strong centre halves, and they've got the likes of Vokes, who's been around and he can nick a goal. Plukas as well. Obviously, we hope Barnsley can threaten going forward, but maybe that will take care of itself a little bit. But they're going to be under pressure for spells. And Anderson's been great. I like his decision making is improving a hell of a lot. He's clearing his lines when he's got to. He's sensing danger. He's not messing about. But he does have that sort of insurance blanket of knowing that Solbauer's next to him and talking. So he'll be the key man for me on Saturday, Solbauer.
Carlo, we've got 2 men that are saying that Solbauer's the key man. I mean, what do they know? It's only Dale Tonge and Leon Wobschall. I mean, what do they actually know? Carlo, any different thoughts on that? Can you give me another player that you think might be key? Do we see Connor Chaplin make an impact from the start, or do you keep him on the bench? I mean, Corey Woodrow, to a certain degree, has been quiet. I know Struber called him an anchor player today. He mentioned numerous anchor players and having fresh players around them. Carlo, I just wondered your thoughts on that. Who's going to score Barnsley's winner is what I'm asking.
Well, I think first of all on Solbauer, you can see that role that he's got, not only in the back 4. As soon as a match is finished, he is one of those that goes to every single player, and it's a tap at the back of the head, it's a high five, it's a fist bump, and it's a togetherness, and he's spreading that, and he's keeping them all together. Listen, Jacob Brown got a goal, and it was a good goal of that. I'd like to see him get another one, because I think a lot of people getting on his back, but actually, if you look at his assists this season, assist for Woodrow, assist for Connor Chaplin, we've seen him at right back, haven't we? We've seen him in the midfield, we've seen him up front, but I think he's providing a lot. It'll be interesting who he goes with, and I wonder if the changes that he made, obviously, scored the goal straight away. So his lineup will be really interesting. I don't think he'll start with Connor Chaplin. And a key man for me, well, besides Solbauer, I think Alex Mowat, because he just cleaned so much up in that midfield. He just does. He's just, So yeah, those for me.
I saw a tweet this week, and it said something like, "Other than Jacob Brown scoring and making that clearance, what did he do?" which made me chuckle. I just thought, what more do you want him to do? Football fans, eh?
People
Right,
don't
we'll
watch
go
people don't watch him chasing everybody down, pressurising, forcing mistakes. They don't see that bit. They only see it when he puts the ball in and it's 5 inches wide.
We'll go for predictions then before we round off the show. Carlo, we'll start with yourself. Score prediction and first scorer, please. We've only got 3 minutes, so
I'll keep it short then. I'll go with Woodrow will get one, and I'll go for a 2-1 win to Barnsley.
Brilliant. Leon, yourself?
You must have stolen my thunder. I can see a 2-1 there. I can see maybe Barnsley scoring, early on, Stoke pressurising, getting a goal, but, Barnsley getting a winner, maybe someone like Chaplin. So I'm going to go 2-1. I think Barnsley in form. Like Dale said, it's if you could pick away games to go to on Saturday, Stoke could be high up the list now. So they've got to just carry on what they're doing, strike while the iron's hot.
Brilliant. Thanks, Leon. And Dale, yourself?
Clean sweep. I'm saying 2-1. 2-1, going Solly as the winner. I think they're going to start like an house on fire, to be honest. I think they're going to put us under so much pressure. I think they might go ahead, actually. But after that, I think eventually the football will dictate and his energy will take over. I think, like I say, look at them, they're an older team as well. I think as young as energy and will, like I said, maybe an 85th, 6-minute winner. I'd take that.
I feel like from what you've said, Dale, and obviously you kind of feel Barnsley are going to come under cosh a little bit to a certain degree and have to do a lot of soaking up and hopefully try and hit him at some point. Lads, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know you're both very busy. Well, all three are very busy, man.
Oh, yeah, really busy.
Leon, I'll let you get back to your writing. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it very much.
No problem at all. Thanks.
Dale, I'll let you get back to your learning. We know you're a very busy man at this minute in time. And, of course, being a dad is also hard work. Thank you very much, Dale.
Pleasure.
See you later, Carlo. Cheers, Dale. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks very much. Cheers, lads.
See you later.